Welcome back, everyone. In the previous video, I did promise to look at the Lambda function and start working on it. That belongs to the restaurant agent. But before we do that, I do want to set up the S3 bucket where the hotels, Airbnbs, and restaurants CSV is going to live. Okay? And before we do that, let's take a look at how the restaurants CSV is going to look like. As you can see, we have a restaurant name, we have the city that it's in, and whether it's fine dining or not. Keep in mind, these are non-existent. I have asked an LLM to create this for me. So the Urban Grill in Chicago does not exist, unfortunately. Okay, and the French Bistro in Fort Worth, which is a fine dining option, also doesn't exist, okay? So keep that in mind, but also keep in mind that you can use whatever database you want. So I'm using a CSV right now, but you could very well, connect AWS Lambda functions with Postgres or any other relational database. Okay, so I hope that made sense. And if you remember, in the list of restaurants function, when we created for the restaurant agent in the previous video, we had the parameters, which was the city and the fine dining. And that's essentially what we're going to be setting up in the Lambda function later on, okay? So that it maps the user input, which is going to be the city, and whether they want, fine dining or not. And the user might say, I want to eat casually. So, how do we know what casually is? And that's where the LLM comes in. And the LLM is going to know that, okay, casually means not fine dining, okay? So that's why we have created those parameters in the previous lesson. Remember, we created the city parameter, which was a string and it was required, and we created the fine dining parameter. But remember, we created that parameter to be fine_dine. But keep in mind, we're going to do some magic behind the scenes, so it does not have to match the column names in the CSV. Okay, so now you know how the CSV looks like. As you can see, it's not too big. Let's create the S3 bucket and let's upload this CSV. So right now I'm back in my AWS console and I'm going to type in S3 and let's create a bucket. And as you can see, I have a bunch of buckets. They're all for courses, so nothing private in them. Usually you don't want people seeing your buckets, but these buckets, they have public access blocked, and I don't care if you guys see the bucket names because they have no information in them really that could be exploited. But generally, you don't want to expose your bucket name unless you specifically want to expose it for public access, okay? Now, the bucket name, remember this has to be a globally unique name, so you can't name it the same thing I will. I'm going to call it Bedrock Agents Bucket. Hopefully this name is unique, and keep all the recommended settings, okay? Scroll down and create the bucket. Oh, a bucket with the same name already exists. So somewhere in the world, someone already has this name. So I'm going to rename this to Bedrock Agents Bucket Course. Hopefully no one has this name. Let's create the bucket. And as you can see, we have created the bucket. And right now it's empty. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to be uploading the restaurant's CSV.